Okay, so what we should do is always, when not in service, just keep this e-stop depressed.
Yes.
And that way you could.
You can leave that disconnect on,
Okay.
and there's no medium voltage on the drive until you pull the e-stop.
Okay.
So if you want medium voltage on the drive, pull the e-stop, and see how it has blinking alarms.
Yeah.
Hit reset, hold it in, and that energizes the drive. Now, it'll take a few seconds. You get the ready light
Okay.
up on the panel, and once you do that, and you get your ready bit out there, then you're ready to run the drive.
It is loud.
And that's how you kill it. Yeah. That's
Okay.
all you gotta do.
This control right here should always be in remote if it's talking to the system, but
Yes.
to run the drive locally, just is as simple as going to
Yes.
local, and here's where you adjust your
Yes,
speed.
so you just switch it over to local, and as soon as you do that, you still have to actuate the e-stop.
Gotcha.
But then you can use the start, stop, and the speed control here local.
That's simple. Okay.
That's simple.
All right.
And then if you have alarms, so if
Yeah.
you have a fault or whatever and you want to know what it is, just tap on the alarm screen and it'll tell you the e-stop is tripped because the e-stop's in.
Okay.
System's locked because it's locked out because the e-stop's pressed and there's no power to it. The input circuit breaker is tripped, which means because it opened up the contactor when you hit the e-stop.
Okay.
So that's all that. So those three errors are very common. That just means you need to pull the e-stop. So if you had other e-stops on the system, you'd need to pull those out. Make sure they're all pulled out and then do a reset. And then
Okay.
those will go away. Everything else, so you can go into operation and this will tell you that your input contactor is open.
You got a graphic there. Mhm.
Yep, so you pull the e-stop, reset the alarm, then it'll go to
Gotcha.
green, show you the circuit breaker is closed, your drive will be ready when it comes up ready, and then whenever you run the motor, then it'll turn green and all that
Gotcha.
stuff too. So just a simple graphic. It's just really noisy with the fan.
Is there any type of alarm history screen? Like, for
Yes,
example, they're having trouble or
yes.
something out there?
So
you can
alarm
see?
history.
Okay, good.
So you can go through all these I caused
Okay.
during startup,
Check out,
commissioning. Yeah.
Is the date right? Today's the 23rd. Oh, okay.
So, yeah, so I'll need this to see what the stuff. Yeah, it says it's a day off,
Okay.
so we can set it. I'll set it.
That'll be fine.
Now the other thing that's you got to remember about these. So if you want to get into the panel and look inside the panels
Yeah.
or anything, or if you call tech support and say, "Hey, I got this problem," I say, "Well, you need to look at this."
Okay.
In order to get inside these panels, you have to have this e-stop pressed, of course.
Okay.
You have to open up the switch, lock it out.
Okay.
Kurt key. So, in order to open those panels, turn your Kurt key, and that allows you to pull these two keys out. That'll allow you to open up these locks, to open up these panels, and it keeps you from getting anywhere that has 4160 on it.
Okay.
This panel is just 110, so you don't have to have a key to get in it, other than if you want to lock the keys up here on the handles. So this is all your controls, the PLC, the main processor, power, UPS, backup, all that stuff. Right now I have the panel heater turned off, this breaker right here,
Gotcha.
because down here
Yeah, you
in
don't
the air
need it.
conditioned building, I don't think you really need it.
No.
It's pretty controlled, it's not humid in here or anything.
There's where
so I
we're
think
connected
you're
to
good.
that. It's our network there.
Yeah, and you might want to look at your connect, put a different connector on, because look, it won't snap in correctly. So you need a different connector. It won't snap in.
If we get them to redo it, and I got some.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right.
that's the only thing that I've seen that was.
Is there anything on the graphics that lets you know that you're connected there with communications?
No, that you'll only know that on your watchdog on your end.
Okay.
And that watchdog, if they have it set up, what it does is it sends a number over, increments, sends a number back, increments, sends a number back. And
I saw
goes
that
up to
yesterday.
255, and then it resets to 0 and does same.
Okay.
So
I saw that. I saw it yesterday doing that, and I didn't know what that was, but okay.
So you have these, the courtesy fans for or all courtesy fans, but cooling fans for inside your panel. You got your fans on your UPS.
Do we have any drawings on? Is there any drawings supplied with this control panel?
There's
From
drawings. I can send you all the drawings for it, and then you can print them out or put them in your database or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, it might be
'Cause I don't
beneficial to have that.
I don't have a physical copy of them,
Okay.
so I got a copy of them digitally. I can send it to you. I
So
can-
why would we need to get in here if tech support wanted us to get?
anything? So if you get an alarm or say a cell says that cell is messed up or not firing or something, whatever it may be, if they tell you to get in and look at something, then you'll have to use these keys. And what they'll do is you'll open this up, and now this has 4160 potential in it. So you really need a hot stick or something if you're going to touch anything in here.
Got you.
But you've got your lights, some of your LEDs, you can see it's still charged on your LED right there, the red one. So until those are completely drained, don't touch. It's hard to see. These have to have 4160 on them to get all the data and stuff out of them.
Okay.
So it's really hard to see these LEDs with the doors closed, but you gotta have the doors closed to have medium voltage on it. So if you ever had to see it, see the light indications, or they wanted you to see them, they'd probably end up having one of us come down because
Okay.
we would have to bypass some stuff to be able to do that,
All right.
to be safe. We have a hot stick that we test everything with before we touch, but I'm not going to touch anything. But this is your transformer. It's for your voltage step down. These are all your power cells. Those are your motor leads that's going out the back. You see that yellow wire going out the back? That goes back to your motor leads.
So that is the motor leads right there.
No, these
Uh-huh.
go to a voltage sensing board that's on this.
Okay.
The ones that are going backwards to the
Yes.
back, those are the ones that's actually going out to the motor leads.
What's the primary coming in on the step down transformer? I saw-
4160.
Oh, okay. I thought this was 4160.
This is 4160. It comes into the bus. It comes in and feeds
Uh-huh.
each one of those. So you see all those cables?
Yep.
Those come to each one of those power cells.
Okay.
So the power cells are operating on the output of this is 600. It steps it from 4160 to 600 volt.
Okay.
All these drives takes that 600 volt, and with them in series, it puts back out 4160.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I actually saw a word in the communications yesterday that when we were at 60 hertz running, I could see 41. It was almost 60, 4152 or something like
Right,
that.
right.
So I can actually display that voltage too.
Yes.
I had that information.
So and those cables come over here to a voltage sensing board, and that's where we monitor the voltage and know what voltage we're running at the motor and everything. That's your voltage sensing board right there. So the information that you're getting and that we're getting up here for the motor voltage is coming from this.
Okay.
So normally your motor leads would be right back here, but they have those jumpers that's going up to the top ones that they put up there in the back.
Okay.
But normally you could just take this cover off, slide it off, and your line and load leads would be right here.
Okay.
If it's bottom fed, but this one's top fed.
All right. So
So the only reason you should need to be in here is if you're troubleshooting and you're talking to tech support or one of us, and we have you looking at it to see.
okay.
And in order, so what they may have you do is talk to tech support. They may have you go into the settings and go in, log in, and they'll have you go in to like the fault masks. So if you're getting a fault, they may have you fault mask some faults out
Okay.
in order to keep it wrong. running long enough for you to go into some parameters and get readings from them. But if they need you to do that, they'll give you all the passwords for the section you're going in and all that kind of stuff over the phone. So they'll step you right through it. Press this in for the user, this for the password, go to this parameter. They're pretty good about that stuff.
Okay.
So there's no use in worrying about it unless you need it.
Okay, very well.
But really, it's pretty simple. I mean, you got your home screen, so that tells you your hertz and your motor speed, your voltage, current, and all that. So you can also start this from the touch screen also if you really wanted to. That's what we do if we don't have the local controls. We use the touch screen. So start, stop, that's a reset just like that. Accel and decel.
Where you set the times?
Well, no, this is Accel frequency by step. So if you want it to go, so there's certain steps you can set in there. So if you have an application, you want to go to the frequency, and then you have to step up to the next one, and then up to the next one. It's just a stepping. Then you would enable that. But if you don't, like what we're doing, just the nice S curve.
You said the Accel time was 30 seconds.
Accel and decel is both 30 seconds right
Okay,
now.
that's fine.
They can be changed if you end up needing them in your process. You know, like if we need it a little faster or whatever,
No,
then we can
probably
change
not.
it. And that's not a big deal.
Okay.
So really the main two screens that you'll need is the home and alarm. And that's the main ones you'll use. If you do call tech support, they'll want you to look at this version info, and they'll want you to take a picture of that or tell them what each one of those say, and that way they know what version's in what section of it, so they can give you the right information.
Okay.
So, but it's right there and easy to get to. So really, I mean, that's about all there is to it. Inside here, if you unbolt this, if you look down there, you got your vacuum contactor down the bottom, got your fuses.
Okay.
So your main power comes into the bus in the back, comes down. The blades, if you look in this window in the back, if you look in the very back, you'll see see those white shutters? That's back here in the top. That, if you're ever opening this, you want to make sure those white shutters are showing, and that lets you know that that's closed off from the medium voltage.
Okay.
And those blades, or the shears that come down, you want to make sure they're up against that grounding bus. That's a grounding bus up there
Okay.
to help pull any potential off of it. You still hot stick everything before you get in, but
We
that's
won't
just
be
the same
doing
thing.
any of that.
So whenever we turn that on, let me get these keys. So in order to turn that back on, we got to return the keys over here, over the box. And then take the main key out. Put it in the disconnect, turn it, and turn this back on. Now you got medium voltage going to the drive. It's not powering up the drive yet because you don't have it going to the drive, you have it going to the contactor.
Gotcha.
So when you pull the E-stop, the
E-stop,
contactor will go in.
reset.
Yeah. So if you look in there now, you'll see what I was talking about on them shutters. The white part of the shutter is gone,
Yes.
and that has slid over, and those knives have went down and connected to them, to the bus in the back.
Gotcha. All right.
Like fully automated with a motor that pulls the contactor in, and you don't even have to be in the building, you can be outside.
Yeah. So the only thing that's in this cabinet, let me get my screwdriver. The only thing that's in this cabinet is your controls for the contactor. You got your IntelliVac here. And if you're running and not troubleshooting, it should always be in normal.
Okay.
So if you want to troubleshoot it without medium voltage and you have your disconnect off, then you'll put this over on test, plug an extension cord in here, plug it into the outlet, and then that'll give this power, remote power, to operate it in test mode without medium voltage on it. That's what we did the very first thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's your test mode. And what that does is it gives the remote power to this so it'll operate correctly. So you
Okay.
can test everything. Because this power comes from, there's two fuses on top of that vacuum contactor, and there's a transformer back there, and that's what supplies the control power for this when the medium voltage is on.
Okay.
So as long as that's in normal, you should be good. So what you'll notice is if you pull that e-stop and hit that reset, you pull the e-stop first, just twist and pull. So you notice how this lit up? So it went to green.
Okay.
So it's ready. So we're good. So if you hold down that reset and let it let it pull in the contactor. Now you know that the module's good and the contactor's pulled in. That's your indications on your tow light.
Can I switch from local to remote on the fly, or do I have to shut the drive
No,
off?
you can do that anytime you want. That doesn't matter. You can run local or remote. So DCS, now it says DCS. And then it goes to local. So you know which mode you're in. You got indications. And you have indications on your bits out there. So have to do your PLC and let you know what mode it's in. And then these lights are just your indications, like normal. Just like these here.
I think that's all we need to know.
That's about all there is to it.
What is this?
That is your temperature for the transformer.
Okay.
You only have 3 channels on it. So that's just a protection. So if the temperature of the transformer gets up too high, it will fault your drive and let you know that it's getting too hot.
All right.
So